Greetings trophy hunters, and anyone else who may have got drawn in by the title of the video thinking it was going to be about making coffee or frottaging or something. I'll save that for another video. No, today is about trophy hunting, and specifically those grindy trophies. As the descriptor implies, a grindy trophy is usually a tedious, long-winded and repetitive affair. An endeavour that sometimes drives us borderline insane and makes us question our life choices. At least that was my general feeling until recently. So, we're halfway through 2025 now, the year I've labelled Year of the Grind, mainly because I platinumed a few games with particularly grindy trophies. And what's interesting is, I've actually been having a really good time. And this has led me to the realisation that there may actually be such thing as a good grind. So I thought for a bit of fun, I'd dig out those grindy trophies from my memory and see on balance if grinding really is as bad as I thought. For our little project, I have constructed the Scales of Something. Good grinds will go on this side, bad grinds will go on this side. And afterwards, I will summarise with some likely obvious conclusions. But for now, let me recount the stories of hours wasted, so that one day, if I have grandchildren and they ask, "Grandad, what did you do when you were younger?" I can put on this video and have a nap. So let's kick off with Space Marine 2. The game that was the primary inspiration for this video. This game has a few grindy trophies, most notably for killing 41,000 enemies, and also for levelling your character as well as multiple weapons. But my goodness, was it a lot of fun. This game was a blast from start to finish. Nothing overcomplicated, never trying too hard, just being a solid, engaging game that obscured the grindy trophies by making you want to play it. And even though I resorted to body farming the 41,000 kills, it was a satisfying experience. Definitely a good grind. Second on the list is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Great game and pretty decent trophy list. Save for one, which is the level 100 trophy for levelling up your profile to 100. Welcome to the world of soul-crushing grinds, fellow kids. So the game rewards you for experience for all manner of things, from scoring points to completing tasks, as well as fulfilling requirements for additional goals, e.g. spending a certain amount of time performing a grind trick. Thing is, once you've done almost all the game has to offer for these rewards, you'll still be miles off the required experience to hit level 100. At this point, the most optimal way to gain experience is to get a combo around 1 million points on a run, enable those helpful cheats, and strap in for the tedium that ensues. Sorry Tone, bad grind. Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt next, and it's the Master Marksman trophy, earned by killing 50 human and non-human opponents by striking them in the head with a crossbow bolt. And what a pain in the arse this was. See, I'm a man of simple tastes. I like swords and igni signs. Do you know what these things have in common? They don't take an age to reload, aim and fire, and they don't rely on annoying hitboxes. And what's also annoying is, you'd think a bolt to the head would be an insta-kill, especially on a human enemy. Hell, it'd be a suitable reward for pulling it off with this awful weapon, but no. You have to soften these guys up first to make sure the bolt lands the killing blow. Kind of wish I'd started tackling this one from the get-go. Popping off a couple of enemies an hour in the 100+ hours spent in the game would have made the grind imperceptible. Instead, I was traipsing back and forth to Devil's Pit for a couple of hours to make a point-blank nuisance of myself. Is it on me this one? Maybe, but the crossbow sucks. Bad grind. Not a great deal to say about the next one. Stardew Valley is a lovely game with loads to do. And there are a few trophies that could be considered grindy. For example, cook every meal, completing the museum collection, catching all the fish, or crafting all the items, or shipping every item. But the one that tops it is the Legend 10 Meal trophy for earning 10 million G. Just to put it in perspective, after a couple of hundred hours in the game, having achieved most of the other trophies, I was at 4 million G. But this doesn't matter. Stardew Valley is a comfy game, and in comfy games, time means nothing. I came here to farm, and farm is what I will do. Good grind. Next, we have a little game on the PS Vita called Breakquest Evolution. No platinum on this one, but I do love 100% on my trophy list. Breakquest is one of those brick breaker games that have been around since the beginning of gaming time. Not a bad little game, and you'll probably have all but one of the trophies popped within a few hours. But this one. Play the game for 24 hours. Thankfully not in one go. Now, pardon me a moment whilst I squat down a bit. It's not my intention to shit on this game from a great height. Like I said, it's not bad. There is no way in Yarn that I'm finding a full 24 hours of enjoyment here. So, I resorted to taking my Vita to work, leaving it in my top drawer. Idling on a stage, I go back to it every 15 to 20 minutes, quit out and restart the level because I was paranoid about screen burn, and eventually the trophy popped. Okay, was it really a grind? Well, spending 2.5 days at work going in and out of your top drawer without looking like a weirdo was a lot of work. So yeah, bad grind. Now on to a game that I will happily shit on from a great height. It's EA's 2019 entry into the FIFA franchise, FIFA 20. The trophy in question is called Only One, which is awarded for maxing your avatar's overall rating in Volta Football. Volta Football is a game mode that revolves around street football. It comes with character creation and a forgettable story kind of thing, complete with irritating and obnoxious characters, and basically it's fun for all of 5 minutes. What makes this trophy a royal pain in the ass was at the time I tackled it, nobody was really sure what was required to level the different stats. So it was a blind grind of playing games, changing positions, trying to get loads of passes or tackles or shots, and hoping something would change. You know, it's probably the trophy I'm most ashamed of. Truly awful stuff. Just for the record, I didn't platinum this game, and I will never buy an EA football game again. But that's another story. Bad grind, and EA. On to Extreme Exorcism, another one without a plat, and a pretty fun game overall. I really like the concept of this game. Basically you have to kill ghosts over a number of rounds, but with each subsequent round, the latest ghost will follow the path your character took on the last round. Makes for some enjoyable and frantic gameplay, where planning ahead can be very rewarding, and it comes with a fairly reasonable trophy list. But of course, there's that one that warrants its inclusion in this video, and that is the Necromancer trophy for dying 1000 times. Now, I'm not sure if this trophy is a compliment or an insult, because after nailing all the other trophies, I was still a long way from getting this one. I know it was an easy task and it took around 1 hour. There was something about hearing this sound over and over that made it very hard work. In retrospect, I probably should have just turned the sound off, so I guess this one's on me. Nevertheless, a bad grind. And whilst I'm taking accountability for mismanaged grinds, let's talk about Rise of the Ronin. Lovely game, fun combat, interesting story. That is if you manage to follow the story at all, whilst you distract yourself with all the side quests and collectibles dotted all over the many maps the game has. Because this is what happened to me. The maps in Rise of the Ronin are peppered with things to do, and the trophy hunter / completionist in me instinctively felt the need to tackle them all. Couple this with a slightly OCD approach, and eventually I succumbed to a bit of burnout with the game. So much so I actually took a 3-month break from it and lost track of the story. But regardless of the order I did everything in, this was always going to be a grind. There's definitely a lesson to be learned here. Bad grind. I actually did a video about the next game's platinum, because it was pretty bad. Which is a shame, because the forest is so damn good. It's not that the trophies are unreasonable or anything, it's just that the game is fucked to buck. See, there are a few trophies which require you to do some things a certain amount of times, for example cut down 1000 trees or cut off 50 limbs. Problem is, every time you leave the game the counter resets, which is a bit of a dick if you check the trophy list and you've been working towards these trophies. So the solution is to do it all in one sitting. Thankfully, there is a way to speed up the tree cutting, but still, it's not the worst grind in the world, but it just feels unnecessary. Bad grind. But let's lighten the mood with a truly beautiful game. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Shadow of the Colossus. It's that one where you play as a dude who's trying to save his girlfriend by killing a bunch of giant beasts who are just minding their own business. There's one trophy that requires you to max out the character Wander's stamina bar. The most optimal way to do this is by defeating a Colossus, to increase the bar just a little bit. This, however, will require multiple playthroughs, and whilst it fits my criteria of a grind, it never really felt like it. I wonder if the fact that there were other secrets and trophies that could only be found with maximum stamina were enough of an extra reward to make this feel less grindy. Anyway, it was a good one. And continuing the theme of maxing skills in a fantasy setting, there's this game called Skyrim. Not sure if you've heard of it, it's a fantasy RPG with loads of the same thing to do. It is actually okay though, especially in VR. And I had a really good time with this one. I mean, I did everything, including all the DLC. But even after all of that, I still hadn't got any of my skills up to level 100 to get one of the trophies. Anyway, I am not going to show any footage of this grind, just enjoy this satisfying interaction.
Do you get to the Cloud District very often? Oh, what am I saying? Of course you don't.
I can't actually remember how I did this one in the end. I think I ended up smithing enough daggers and knives to arm the rest of London. What I do remember is trying all manner of ways to max a skill AFK. This may have been the first time where I became self-aware of the silly things I was doing for trophies, which is why I took this photo. Bad grind. Now let's go back to a time of less self-aware trophy hunting. Still with Bethesda games, it's Fallout 4. Another huge open world RPG which I loved and was actually my first platinum. But the grindy trophy in question here is from the Nuka World DLC, Eyes on the Prize. Nuka World is basically a big theme park with rides and attractions and all that. And it's just like a real life theme park in that you can play games and win tickets and redeem them for rubbish prizes. And for this trophy you just need 100,000. So for throwing a ball through a hoop I get 1 ticket. That takes me however many seconds. So this is going to take... well, no. Thankfully Fallout 4's wonderful base crafting allows you to make this beautiful arrangement. Credit to YouTuber Lazy Drunk for this solution. Once constructed, you just have to pop in your caps and you move the ball up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah, it's still a bad grind. On to another game with a lengthy grind, albeit with a more effective workaround, and that is Wipeout Omega Collection. Oh, this game is so good. Came bundled with the PSVR, so naturally that's how I played it, and it felt amazing. Trophy-wise, it's a pretty solid list too. Some really good challenges in there, but yes, there's also that grindy one. It's called Rank 50, and you get it for, surprise surprise, reaching Rank 50 on the 2048 campaign. To achieve this, you have to amass 1.8 million XP, which is way more than you'll have after completing everything else. Thankfully, there is an idle grinding method, where you can align your ship on a specific track, rubber band your controller, and rack up the XP by hitting some boost pads. Leave that for a bit, and come back, finish the race and bank it. I'm kind of on the fence with this one. The game is absolutely awesome, but the grind seems a bit unreasonable. But because of the workaround, I can't really complain. This one's going to be a split. And so, on to the final entry, and it's for the wonderful Tetris Effect. Tough plat, but well worth the trouble. Just be prepared for the grind of your life, because the Spin-Out Ice trophy wants you to rotate Tetraminos 1 million times. Now, bear in mind that all you do in this game is rotating these things. Here's a screenshot I took after getting every other trophy in the game. Note the time spent and the number of spins I've done. Now here's a screenshot after I got the Spin-Out Ice trophy. I'll let you do the maths, but that is a lot of hours spinning Tetraminos. Thankfully, I found ways to make it more bearable. First off, I remapped the buttons so I could use multiple digits and avoid fatigue. I also broke down spinning into 20 to 30 minute sessions, but my biggest tip would be, and this is all thanks to the wonderful world of wireless technology, find something else to do. You don't have to pay attention here. Seriously, watch TV, read a book, do some stretches. You can even wander into another room and actually talk to normal people. And I promise you, by the second day, they won't even question what you're doing. If you hadn't guessed, this is going in bad grind. Conclusion time. So I think it's pretty clear which way the scales are tipping, and honestly, who didn't see that coming? A few good grinds, but mostly bad. So what makes a good grind? Well, apologies if I'm stating the obvious, but it basically comes down to how much you enjoy the game. It's almost a case of how well the game distracts us from the grind. But there is an important thing to note here. I, as a trophy hunter, and I imagine this applies to quite a few others as well, am a game generalist, not a specialist. Sure, there are a couple of games I'll go back to every now and then, but generally speaking, once I've finished the game, that's it, move on to the next. Some of the trophies I've spoken about today, for example the Tony Hawk, Wipeout and Tetris trophies, seem to have excessive requirements to earn. But for the hardcore enjoyers of these games, they would just come naturally. A reward for pure dedication to a game, rather than a symbol of stubborn masochism. But alas, this is the life we chose, and the grind shall be our cross to bear. I think there are ways to make grindy trophies work for us though. Remember, they don't have to be done in one go. You can start another game. The grind can wait, it's not going anywhere. Sometimes you'll have days where the mindless repetition is actually what you need. Just manage your time, listen to your mood, and do what you feel like doing. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and please share your grinding experiences in the comments below. Please remind me that I'm not alone. Okay, take it easy. Love you all. Bye.